When I think of back to school and snacking and grabbing something quick, I always think of granola bars. If you look at what's actually in a granola bar that you find in your store, many of them are high in sugar, they can be high in calories, high in fat. So the great thing about making your own granola bars, you can make big batches at once and freeze them, but you can also control what goes into them. And so you can choose really high quality ingredients. So we're gonna feature a few really interesting ingredients today.
So yes, we're featuring blueberries right now. It adds a little sweetness, it adds a really nice texture, adds a really nice color as well. So we're using some really nice whole grain here. We have oats, just large flaked oats. We have a little bit of wheat germ, which is nice as a binder.
It also contains a little bit of omega-3 fatty acids, which are those anti-inflammatory and anti-clotting type of fatty acids that we don't get enough of typically in the North American diet.
So a little wheat germ. We have some pecans here. You can add sliced almonds. So if you want pistachios, add pistachios, sunflower seeds, hemp seeds. Just be bold, be creative with it really. So we're adding all of our dry ingredients. We have a little bit of cinnamon in here as well. For moisture, again, I'm foregoing the oils and the butters, and we're just adding a little bit of applesauce, actually. If you like a drier, crispier granola bar, add less to no applesauce. I like mine with it's a little bit moist. We have some nice honey here. We're just using a little bit to sweeten it up. We're using some almond butter just to give it a nice richness, a nice creaminess, and then that'll help to bind it as well. And then our blueberries and some dried apricots. And you can add cranberries, you can add raisins. Frozen blueberries work just as well. I actually prefer using frozen blueberries sometimes because when you mix them, they don't crush as easily on you, so they still tend to hold their shape. So that's it. It's the last process to mix it. You can use a spoon, you use a spatula. My suggestion, you have two hands. They're the best tool you can use in the kitchen, so really get in there.
One of the feature ingredients in a lot of granola bars is oats. There's been years and years of research showing that oat fiber helps to lower your LDL cholesterol. The way to remember it is the L is the lousy cholesterol, and so the one that we want to reduce because it's associated with an increased risk of heart disease. Another thing about oat fiber as well is it contains something called beta-glucan. And some preliminary research has shown that beta-glucan actually helps promote cancer-fighting cells like natural killer cells and T cells. And there have been some animal studies on beta-glucan as well, showing that it can also help cancer cells from growing. But that research was only done in animals so far, but there is some promise from a cancer prevention and cancer recurrence prevention point of view.
So you know your mixture is ready when you can kind of compact it and it won't crumble or fall apart on you. That's how moist you want it. So what I've done is I lined a baking sheet with a little bit of parchment. And I'm just gonna press. Remember, the thinner you make it, the crispier, the crunchier it's gonna be. This is foolproof. Once it's at this point, you're pretty much safe. That's about it. So at this point here, it's gonna go into the oven, 350 for, again, about 25 minutes.
If you don't have time and you just wanna grab something from the store in a pinch, then there's a few things that I want you guys to look for. So just remember the number 5. So you want the fat content in the bar to be under 5, and you want the fiber to be 5 grams or higher. So that's kind of an easy way that you can choose a healthy bar.
So this is what you're looking for after. You got a really nice golden brown crust. You can just use a knife or a spatula, just separate, go along the side, separate anything that's stuck. And because of the parchment, it should come out fairly easily.
And less cleaning.
Yes, this is very important. And that's about it. I mean, at this point here, you can freeze it if you want as a whole block. It might be a little easier to pre-cut it. And I mean, these are good, not even as a snack, but if you need like that breakfast, or even if you need like last minute kind of dessert, someone comes over, you don't have anything to serve. I mean, this, throw a few blueberries on there. You can add just maybe like a touch of like maple syrup or agave just on top of there. And that's it. Really, really simple.